Hello. I did not like this episode at all. I didn't like it to the point where I'm not wearing my regular Star Trek shirt or Star Trek imitation shirt, should I say. It's not an official shirt, it's just a random shirt. And my pal here is trying to keep me company on and off. But I didn't like this episode. I don't like episodes that deal with mental asylums or promoting in treating mental health is one thing, but trying to portray it in this episode where a person is sane but they're trying to put convince the character that they are insane. They did one of these in Stargate SG-1 where Sam was locked up. It's just this is Riker, and it's just I just don't like it. And I was thinking about a comment a person made a couple weeks ago about me not being specific enough for them. And I was like, I know this person, and if you ask them, why you didn't like it or why about a thing, they could give you a book. They could go on they could write several pages, be very, very analytic. And me, it's like, I just didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. I wasn't pleased with the subject matter. It bothered me a great deal. I just wasn't comfortable with it. And that's my explanation. Her explanation would be a book long thing pointing out all these things. So I have this other thing to help me today. And my pal here keeps walking back and forth, bugging me. Welcome to the Dealy Reads book series. I'm Christina Kairas, Tina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. I'm a series person. I like series, character progression from book to book to book. Star Trek is a series. I like you can binge I like binging a series. I like doing that. And we are on, don't forget to check out If Then later this afternoon. And don't forget to check out Flashback Mondays, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. They did almost 300 in this one, so I'll probably cover about 80 books in Flashback Monday. These authors are still relevant today. And there is a sci-fi section here we do cover. I did pull a couple of the sci-fi books to talk about this week, so check this one out. We are on season 6, disc 6, episode 247, Frame of Mind. We did all the birthrights the last couple of weeks, and the chase. Frame of Mind, Suspicious, Rightful Heir, and Second Chances. Well, please check those out in the next couple of weeks. I'll get to those. I had to go looking for the next. Just want to get these out of the way. I couldn't remember because we're coming to the end of this. I couldn't remember what I did with the other one, and I'm like, I can't find season 7. What am I going to do? So I found season 7. But when I was looking at it, I was like, I thought the box was a little on the warp side. And then I'm looking at it and going, is that supposed to be the transporter? I thought maybe the boxes had worn, something in the back, and I wanted to see what it was. And then I realized it was the transporter. So, seasons 1 through 3 we did, all the recaps, so please check those out. And we're almost finished with season 6. And we will be moving on to season 7, but we got to get through these episodes and the ones on disc 7. But while we are here, and I do have my script printed out, but I decided that this episode bothered me so much that I wasn't going to do it. But if you checked in with me last week, I was happy and upset at the same time. I was happy that I found these books, but I was upset that I found them this late. 6 seasons in, and now I find these books. I couldn't have found them in season 1 and 2 when I was doing this. No! I had to find it in season 6. And I don't think there's a book for 7, so I don't know. I'll have to look. But I would have loved and enjoyed the heck out of this book way back in season 1. It would have made some stuff so much easier. So much easier. But I will tell you that come on. The person that wrote this book liked this episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's the Nitpicker's Guide to Next Generation for Trekkers. And I can't find one for Voyager because we're going to do Voyager after this. And I was like, damn, I could use one of these for Voyager. So if anybody knows if this exists for Voyager, let me know. But, so it's Stardate 98778.1. Riker rehearses with Data for a play. I didn't realize it was a play, but the way this episode plays, they're trying, some parts of the episode, they make you think that they're actually in a mental institution, and I don't like the fact that they're trying to alter his reality and make him believe that he is in a mental institution when I just don't like it. So at first they're saying it's a play. He portrays Riker rehearses with Data for a play called Frame of Mind. In it, he portrays a patient buffeted by the personnel of a mental institution hospital. The next morning, Picard tells Riker that the government of Tyonis 4 has collapsed. Reports that Tyonis 4 suggests that the warning factions have turned to torture to get strategic information. Picard believes a Federation research team stationed on the planet is a prime target. He wants Riker to escort them back to the Enterprise. Riker decides to go alone, posing as a Telonian merchant. Since the Enterprise won't arrive at Telonius 4 for 5 days, Riker goes ahead with the performance of Frame of Mind. While receiving a standing ovation at the end of the play, he looks up and suddenly finds himself in the ward of the Telonius Institute for Mental Disorders. I I don't even know. So they finished their little play thingy, and he's in the hallway. So he's explaining to Troy here that he feels like he's in the play. So maybe that's the premise of the book, that he's in the play? I just don't get it. So then Riker starts to feel like he is the character, that he's losing his mind. I don't like this. So this is where he imagines that he's in the insane asylum part thingy? Was it? So, while receiving a standing ovation at the end of the play, he looks up and suddenly finds himself in Ward 47 of Telonius Institute for Mental Disorders. A staff member claims he admitted after stabbing a person to death. When Riker attacks the man for lying, the staff inject him with drugs. At this point, Riker shudders awake from his dream. The next night, he performs frame of mind, but images from the play and his real life start to overlap. One moment he's on the Enterprise, then he's in Ward 47. Then Worf and Data rescue him from Ward 47 and take him back to the ship. Riker finally grabs a phaser and shoots himself to find out what's real. One reality after another shatters until he finally regains consciousness on Telonius 4. He was kidnapped shortly after beaming down. His captors have been trying to extract information using a neurosomatic technique. Riker leaps from the table, signals the Enterprise for emergency transport, and beams to safety. Okay. Great moments. The summary doesn't do this episode justice. This was a great episode, but not only did it have a nicely turned plot, but it also featured a beautifully shattering visual effect. Every time Riker broke through a false reality, the pieces of the reality would fly outward, rotating as they went. I didn't like it. I did not think it was a great episode. I do not like this episode that it's trying to convince a sane person that they're crazy. I just didn't like it. I was totally 100% uncomfortable with it. Just massively uncomfortable with it. See, they're actually trying to convince himself that he is in an insane asylum and that they want information from him. They're using this to get information from him. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. It just makes me so uncomfortable. So it says, they said this episode was almost impossible to nitpick. All but the last few minutes of this episode came from Riker's mental meanderings. However, as you can see below, I did find some items to gripe about. Nonetheless, the episode has much to commend, including several subtle hints that its events weren't real. Hopefully, they were planned. For instance, one of Data's first lines while in rehearsal is, "You're becoming agitated again." Can Data use contractions if he's reciting for a play? You know, taking him to lunch under gun. What is this, people? So Data used the contraction. So, is Data capable of using contractions while performing a play? Then there's stars in Picard's ready room window. Anarchy reigns on Tynus 4, endangering a Federation research team. Picard plans a rescue mission, but the Enterprise won't arrive at the planet for 5 days. Why? Because the stars indicate the ship is creeping along an impulse. Also, Crusher visits Riker in the Mental Institute and keeps calling him Commander instead of Will. Finally, while rescuing Riker, Worf hits a staff member with a closed fist. Worf normal punch uses the base of his opened palm. I didn't realize that. Did you know that? So then he's talking to Dr. Crusher about how the play is taking over his reality. I don't know. I guess this is supposed to be one of the fake moments that he's hallucinating, because technically he really is on the 47, but he's trying to. I just don't like it. It's just uncomfortable. Why is he not in uniform during this whole thing? Why doesn't anybody say anything about his hair being unkempt and him being not in uniform? Hmm. They don't mention this in this. Let's see. Oversights. Riker's mental imaging in this episode suggests that he went to Tynus 4 to recover a Federation research team. According to these scenes, he went undercover posing as Telonian merchant. Additionally, when Riker wakes up on the table, he is wearing Telonian clothing and is outfitted with a Telonian knife and disguise communicator. From this and Picard's comments at the end of the show, we can assume that Riker did in fact go to Lonius 4 and that he went undercover, even though much of the evidence to prove this comes from parts of the episode that clearly occur in Riker's mind. If Riker did go to Telonius 4 as a Telonian Major, his makeup is wrong when he wakes up on the table. He should be surgically altered to look like a Telonian, just as he was altered to look like a Malaconian in First Contact. So what do you think? Can you see it? There's a child on the floor, spread eagle. That doesn't work very well, does it? Oh well. I just, this episode is just creepy. So by this point, he realizes it's all fake, and he kills everybody in here, and the glass shatters. I think that's what the guy was talking about in the book. And then he's back in the cell again, and then he's back in the theater again, and then so the episode ends um in the in Picard's ready room where they explain everything. Um, Evidently you were abducted 2 days after beaming to the surface. Riker says, I remember now, I was in an alley. They attacked me from behind. I tried to fight them off. I managed to get one of them off me, but they injected me with some sort of drug. We believe they were trying to extract strategic information from your memory using a neurosomatic technique, Picard says. Then Riker says, I was in a hospital, then I was back on the Enterprise, then I was back in the hospital. I kept shifting from place to place. I couldn't tell what was real. Your mind must have created a defense mechanism that helped you resist the neurosomatic process, Troy says. Your unconscious fastened on elements of your real life in an attempt to keep you grounded, to keep you sane. The preparation for the mission, the play, those were recent experiences fresh in my mind. You should get some rest. We can talk some more tomorrow. There's one thing I'd like to do first. Not a clue. Not a clue. So, I hope you will join me next week when we recap Suspicions, and then the week after Rightful Heir and Second Chances. And maybe, hopefully, I will like those episodes better than I like this one. The whole thing just made me uncomfortable. I just didn't like it. I really just didn't like it. I don't like when they question somebody's mental health. But I am loving this book, and I so wish that I had gotten this book when I started, at least when I started season 6. The fact that I found it at the end of season 7, and it ends and it doesn't cover 7, and I can't find one that covers 7, is just killing me. Oh, to the people that wrote this book, this is an excellent book. Most excellent book. We'll have to do it with the other books and see if we can do a whole thing. But if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it so much. And I hope you had a good January. Snow. It's the only snow I'll ever see. Although 1978, we do talk about it a lot. Alright, have a good one.